What if I were to tell you that we've actually been around a lot longer than we think? Not me and you specifically, but our species as a whole, Homo sapiens. Many anthropologists believe that the very first of our species, Homo sapiens, evolved around 200,000 years ago in East Africa. A lot of people were looking towards East and South Africa, mainly leaning towards Ethiopia. However, a recent archaeological site in Morocco called Jebel Irhoud actually found Homo sapien fossils and artifacts too, but their dates date back to over 300,000 years ago. 300,000 years ago! So this suggests two things. The first is that because the lineage of Homo sapiens is pushed back from this archaeological site over 100,000 years ago, it shows that our ancestors have been walking on Earth for a lot longer than we thought. And another thing is that because this archaeological site is found in North Africa, whereas we believed that the origin of Homo sapiens came from East Africa, it suggests that the origin of our Homo sapien history probably evolved all around Africa, which is called a pan-African origin. Surprisingly enough, this anthropological site is not new. It was actually found in the 1960s, but due to poor dating techniques, it wasn't considered really relevant. Techniques such as electrospin Renaissance dating put these artifacts to 160,000 years, which still, if you think about it, is not really that important of a number when it comes to hominid origins. So this site was just pushed aside for a while. However, in 2004, a party of paleoanthropologists decided to go to the same site in Morocco and excavate once again. And this led to the change of the status quo of Homo sapien evolution. Many things were found in this site, such as a complete adult skull, a mandible, a maxilla, dental remains, postcranial remains, facial bones remains, and even lithic artifacts. And it was through these lithic artifacts that the date was obtained. But before we go into the dating, one important thing to note is that these early modern humans were very similar to what we look like now. The only few differences are in the teeth and the brain case, as it was more smaller and elongated, and in the brow ridges, as their brows were more prominent than ours today. What's happening here is a form of mosaic evolution. Mosaic evolution is a concept of evolutionary change that takes place in some physical characteristics and not others. Some people may argue that the physical characteristics of these fossil finds are not identifiable to anatomically modern humans. By looking at the skull found from the site, the skull looks very similar to our faces, with just a few differences. And these primitive and derived characteristics found in the skull are a form of mosaic evolution. So even though these fossils don't look exactly alike to anatomical modern humans such as me and you, they do look quite similar to early anatomical modern humans. Thermoluminescence is a dating technique that calculates the release of previously absorbed radiation while heated. So how this technique is actually used to calculate the age of the hominids found in Morocco is through the lithic artifacts that was actually found. Within the stratigraphic excavations of this site, there was remains of charcoal found, which means that these early modern humans were using fire. And along with their use of fire, their lithic tools were actually heated. And along with these finds of charcoal, there was actually burnt mammal bones that were there too, which kind of shows that they were cooking these animals with fire. And so thermoluminescence was calculated. Because these lithic artifacts were heated before, scientists were able to heat them again and determine the date through the light of the artifact, hence thermoluminescence dating. The age of the site was determined to be 315,000 years to 34,000 years old. This shows that tool usage of the species found in Jebel Irhoud is actually important because it is from these Middle Stone Age tools that some of the earliest fossil finds of our species, Homo sapiens, are found. Another technique that is used to calculate the age of the fossils found in the site is called electron spin Renaissance dating. This is a technique used to date materials which radiocarbon dating cannot, such as the tooth found in the mandible or Haud 3. This technique dates the tooth in the mandible to over 286,000 years, which again supports the Middle Stone Age artifacts and Fossil Age found by thermoluminescence dating. Now, a single African origin of modern humans within East Africa is a theory held strongly within the scientific community. But with the fossil finds found in North Africa pushing the Homo sapien lineage back to over 100,000 years, the question begins to arise if whether our origins are truly from East Africa, or if there is even a single African origin. Now, a single African origin of modern humans within East Africa is a theory held strongly within the scientific community. But with the fossil finds found in North Africa pushing the Homo sapien lineage back to over 100,000 years, the question begins to arise if whether our origins are truly from East Africa, or if there is even a single African origin. The next earliest site of fossil Homo sapiens is found in Florisbad, South Africa, dating to about 260,000 years. The site has very similar dental and mandible morphology, similar to the ones found in Jebel or Haud. This creates another question, because how can the scientific community say that Homo sapien evolution began in East Africa when there is evidence showing that there are earlier fossil finds almost morphologically similar to modern humans found in North and South Africa? Hublin and others argue that because of this evidence, Homo sapiens did not come from one single area. They suggest that the earliest members of our species evolved from all around the continent of Africa. This theory is called the Pan-African origin. Overall, the discovery of fossil Homo sapiens found in Jebel or Houd, Morocco, challenges the evidence of how old our species truly is and where we came from, thanks to its fossil record and dating techniques. It is important to note that we still have so much more to learn about the evolution of our species. The site of Jebel or Houd shows us exactly this, as we now know that there are Homo sapien fossil remains found over 300,000 years ago. Who knows? The age of our ancestry may be pushed back even more, because there is a likely chance that there are other fossils waiting to be discovered. We just have no idea of where they are. The more we uncover about our evolutionary history, the more we can piece together the puzzle of what we call life itself.